All right. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Today is going to be an interesting conversation. We have a few things to talk about. I'm sure, as you guys have seen, Minnesota is in turmoil yet again. More riots, more stuff like that. And then, well, we also have the e files. I have to be careful with my wording because the YouTube algorithm likes to mess everything up for those who are seeking truth. And we also have a potential war with Iran. So that's great, right? Great job, Trump. So we're going to get into some things uh, today. So let's go ahead and start with what's going on in Minnesota. All right. So this was the same day that Alex was hit. And so as you can see, protesters pushing stuff around. I want to go ahead and take out the audio there. But you can see they're pushing dumpsters, not trash cans. They're pushing, well, I mean, there's one right there, but they're pushing dumpsters. They're using all kinds of different stuff. Create a blockade, maybe? Groups of rioters are actively moving toward federal agents. Okay. Crowds regrouping, pushing forward in waves, objects being thrown, lines tightening. Yeah, this is a coordinated escalation. It is. And this is exactly the kind of behavior that the powers that be want to happen. They want all of these people up in arms, angry, divided, so that we can continue to fight each other while we continue to get extorted, replaced. Did you guys know that we are receiving a record number of H-1Bs and H-1Bs and H-2B visas just in Trump's presidency, I believe? Not only that, but Trump is also letting in 600,000 Chinese students who are legally obligated to spy on us. Do you guys know that? I don't think that's really made mainstream news. So, right. Let's see. Let's take a look at another thing that happened. I believe this was after Renee's shooting, I believe. Breaking radical left rioters have seized major streets in Minneapolis, plunging the city into total chaos while spineless police are nowhere in sight. Well, here's the thing. I mean, when you're surrounded by thousands of people, or hundreds of people even, and you only have a handful of your buddies, you're going to get overwhelmed super quick. So I don't blame them for that. To try and control this crowd here, okay. To try and control this crowd and to have them all pissed off at you, that's self-unaliving right there. Okay. That is stupid. All right. So I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Now, it's not, listen, this is artificial. Okay. All of this is artificial. All of these people, the only thing they realize is that, hey, life sucks. And it's because of these guys and these guys, because these guys told me because these guys told me these guys are the problem. Right. NPCs, yes. Not a thought in their head, yes. Except emotion, unfortunately. But this isn't this isn't normal. This is artificial. Okay. This is very, very artificial. And then we also have Tim Walz, who is egging this stuff on. He's talking about here, let me see here. Oops. Oh, I think this was the video here. All right, so
with the president, with the federal government, and is there any indication that they are going to pull out or back down?
Well, I spoke twice this morning, shortly after I received the call of this shooting. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to cause more chaos. And second call is, with no uncertain terms, that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning, before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures, and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. And I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing. I do have a lot of confidence that the majority of the American people will do the right thing. And I think there cannot be very many people across this country looking right now, after all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said, under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bovino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it. But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going to win another election as long as they live, unless they stand up for what's right, and stand up for the rule of law, and stand up for human decency, and that's the moment.
oh yeah, you mean like scamming people? Talking about your spine. Let's see. Actually, here, before we move on to this, oh, hang on. Before we move on to this, let's go down here.
Conduct these activities can help. So carry your phone with you at all times. Help us establish a record. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record to peacefully help us create a database of the atrocities.
What is going on?
3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota. Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. The federal government is raining down upon our communities. 2,000 to 3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota. Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live.
So, is that AI? Brothers, there's no way. Is that AI? What flag is that? What flag is that? Because that's not an American flag. I don't know what flag that is. Do you guys know what flag that is? I can't really tell what flag that is. But he's saying that
are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live.
He's telling people ICE is going door to door, demanding people tell them where their neighbors of color are. Dude, do you not know how dangerous that is? If we thought that the riots were already bad, I mean, what, this is January 25th, yeah, so this was the day after Alex was shot. And they are everywhere, yelling, shut it down, no more Minnesota, nice. Yeah, these people are getting violent. I mean, they've already been violent. But, I mean, as you can see here, literally just rolling up all kinds of different objects. Right? Not only that, but they're also breaking into buildings. This was the 10th. This was a little bit ago. I mean, look at this madness. Look at this madness, man. How do you expect a country to survive like this? There's no way. There's no there are too many people that are angry, too many people that realize that life is not good for them. And so instead of looking to do their own research, looking up instead of across the street, they go out and they do this. They go out and they do this. How is that helping anything? Except getting you and your little fifis. Well, how is Trump going to respond to this? Well, uh, he said that he won't step in. He won't step into protests in Democratic-led cities unless they ask for help, which we already know that's not going to happen. They're already telling him to leave. This whole thing has been orchestrated, designed, carried out on purpose. All of this stuff. Dude. Trump said he has instructed Homeland Security Secretary Christian Noem not to intervene in protests or unrest in Democratic-led cities unless local officials formally request assistance amid criticism over heavy-handed immigration enforcement tactics. What you mean, hardly trained morons? Right? Yeah, I'd say so. I would say so. But this is what happens when you don't spend the time to properly train people for a very uh high stress job. Okay. And Tim Walz was talking about not calling them law enforcement earlier. I mean, they enforce a law. Okay. That being immigration policies. That's a law. You come to this country illegally, you break the law, you're going to get kicked out, as you should. And the fact that these people don't want to integrate into society, they don't want to take our culture as their own, they want to make parallel societies and only do for them. No. No, we need these people out. But it benefits the corporate CEOs, guys. Right? That's why they're not going after the places that actually make a difference, right? Like farms, construction sites, hotels, restaurants. They're not going after these places. Factories, right? Who remembers the Tyson chicken whistleblower? I believe it was Tyson. Where illegals were literally shitting anywhere that they could. They were just doing whatever the fuck they wanted to. What? And nothing's being done about that. No, 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 no. Not only is nothing being done about it, but they're also bringing more in. They're also bringing more in. We have record number H-1Bs and H-1-2 or H-1Bs and H-2B visas being let in at a record number. And it's all happening behind the American people's back. Whether you vote red or blue, or whoever you vote for. It's all happening behind our backs. And these NPCs don't realize it. These people just don't think. But it's not just these people, it's also MAGA. I mean, if you still support Trump in this in this environment in 2026, there's something seriously wrong with you. There's something seriously wrong with you. Just like people supporting Biden. even in his term. Or I'm sorry, even well, I mean, in his term of vice president, right? Yeah, so it's just insane how we haven't had a politician in a long time that actually. Well, I mean, we have a couple now. Thomas Massey's one of them, which our president also hates because he hates freedom. But we haven't had a politician, high status politician, for a long time who actually wanted and did things good for the country, or did good things for the country. Sorry, guys, I'm pretty tired. The last one that did was shot in front of his wife. So you try to tell me that by doing this, you're going to make the neighborhood safer? But then again, these are the kinds of people who defend criminals, right? Uh, George Floyd, they defended him. Renee Good. Well, can you? Renee wasn't really a criminal. Um, I mean, had she lived, she might have been one. But yeah, you have a number of people that they constantly defend and prop up. So something needs to be done about that. We need to crush all of these chances that illegals are staying here. Here, let me. We're not done with that just yet. We absolutely need to crush all these chances for these illegals to stay here. And if these CEOs want to still employ illegals over American citizens because it's cheaper, well, guess what? They can get deported too. Okay, they can absolutely get deported too, right? Because this is our country, and this right here cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. Something needs to be done about this. This needs to be stopped too. Okay, so people are calling for martial law. That is way, way in the wrong direction. Okay, because on one hand, they're already, they're already ushering in a police state, right? Because Amazon Ring just joined flock cameras, right? So now they're monitoring you. ICE is monitoring you, the FBI, the CIA, right? They're all monitoring your front door, your front porch. It's not enough that they can just tap into your phone like this. Just snap of a finger. It's not enough for them to do that. No, they have to now hack. Well, I mean not hack, but they now have to survey you and your door camera. Isn't that nice? Great use of our tax-paying dollars. So, something's got to change about this entire system because it's actively crumbling right in front of us. This entire system is falling apart right in front of our eyes. Okay. And that's a problem. Obviously, that's a problem. And this will end in a lot of bloodshed. This right here. This is what our great grandparents were seeing in the mid 1800s. Well, early to mid 1800s before the war broke out. Right. So this is the kind of crazy shit that people are doing and seeing. And this kind of thing only leads one way. It only leads to one thing. And it is always, always conflict. I would love for it to end in a peaceful resolution, but I don't see that happening, to be honest with you guys. I really don't. I don't see that happening. I see this continuing to escalate because of politicians' rhetoric, because of the emotions of the people and how blindly loyal they are to their uh their parties respectively. And I don't think a whole lot's going to be done with it. And it's going to lead to absolute chaos. And people on the left, people on the right are all going to get hurt, unfortunately. And so, I always question myself about if I started this channel too late. And that question is I really don't know. I really have no idea if I started this channel too late. We see everything that's going on around us, and we look at something to blame. We look at something to blame, and the easiest people to blame are people that are just across the street. Instead of realizing, hey, we got to look up, we got to figure out who is actually doing these things, right? Who's letting in all of these H1Bs, all these H2Bs? Who's letting in 600,000 Chinese students? Who is committing all this fraud in Minnesota? And then you begin to realize, oh, hey, it's not one party, it's bipartisan, because all of them, all of them play different cards, but it's the same game. Okay, it's the same game. So until we unite and finally realize that fact, this is going to continue to escalate and get worse, and people are going to continue to lose their lives. And you could even say that perhaps this is also, a massive opportunity for false flags. And I would absolutely agree with you, because we all know there's a certain country overseas that has such a control on us that they would absolutely utilize false flags if it benefits them, in which we already know that destabilization already does that. So they're very good at destabilization, just like the American government is. They've been doing this for quite some time. They already know what they're doing. And we do have the internet, and that is probably going to be the best thing that we can use to combat that, because it's not. We're fighting a different kind of war today, guys. We're fighting a war of information, a digital war. That's what we're fighting. I think eventually it will turn to a physical war, right? Where people are unfortunately taking pop shots at each other across the street in their own homes. But I think as of right now, it's kind of teetering on digital war and physical war. I hope for a peaceful resolution, but time will tell. All right. So the next topic here is going to be the e-files. The e-files. So let's see. Guess who? Guess who? Guess who? Guess who said that he was offered to go to the island and he refused? Well, look at this from Elon himself. Says, actually, I could fly back early on the 3rd. We'll be in St. Bart's. We will be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island? On the 2nd? So, got a reply. I need to fly back to LA on the night of the 2nd. So, W. Oh, so double. Okay, got it. Slang. Let's see. 2 or 3 would be perfect. I will come and get you. Okay, probably the first then. Yeah, so this is an interaction between Elon and good old boy Jeffrey. So he's in the files, and there's a number of other people that are in the files. Ah, here we go. He tried to get me to go to his island, and I refused. Yet they named me even more Prince Andrew, who did visit. Oh, really? Did you? Did you now? So what's all this? What's all this, Elon? That's interesting. So a lot more interesting things have come out and downright disgusting. What I will say though is that this image here, um, this image right here, this is not what people are saying it is. People are saying that it was a some kind of uh, image of a baby there. It's not. This is supposedly a art piece from a German photographer, Harold Swaywert or Sywert. Okay. So supposedly this artwork was back in 2003. Okay. I couldn't find anything on this work of art here, but that's what I see people saying online. But things are a little questionable because I also see people saying that they've never seen this piece until the e-files. Again, I have to be careful with how I phrase things because the algorithm. I can tell I'm a little bit in the shadow realm, but uh you have a lot of people who are saying, "Hey, look, this is fake. This isn't fake." I don't know what it is. I'm gonna remain neutral until I get more information. But we have all of these different all of these different code words, pizza, cheese, hot dogs, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So, who all is in Austin is in the Austin office? Who is going to want pizza? Girls. That's what that means. We only have one slice, and we need to know how thinly sliced it is. I'm assuming, or how thinly to slice it. I'm assuming they're asking how old. So we have a number of screenshots here, and I don't know if I can show that. Um, but here, let's see. Here's a list right here, guys. This stuff is disgusting. This stuff is absolutely disgusting. So this is what all this stuff means right here. And here we have Dear Barack, because you betcha he was involved. Dear Barack, when we begin the pizza arrangement, I thought we were going uh, to be more careful than this. Operating from the White House is not what I originally had in mind. Interesting. Remember that the hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle out of it, that will be our downfall. Please know that I am speaking as a friend. You are the president and can do as you like, but I have to say I think it would be wiser to restrict this activity to our predetermined locations. Let me know what everyone thinks. We can vote on it if you like. Thanks, Hillary. Who remembers back in the olden days when Hillary was actually running for president, right back in 2015, and she was actually going to trial. I remember that. I also remember that it wasn't just the emails that she was going to trial over, she was also going to trial over the E Island. Okay. So this doesn't surprise me at all. This doesn't surprise me that Hillary would be writing something like this, but the fact that they were operating allegedly at the White House, that is absolutely disgusting. Wait, Pelosi to wait, so this is also to Nancy Pelosi? What? Is that Ben Affleck? No. I must be seeing. Guys, am I seeing shit right now? No. I don't know about that. But that's I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but that's crazy. That's crazy if all of these people what I was looking at something earlier, and I got to be very careful with X because you know YouTube has different guidelines than X, so I have to be very careful with what I scroll through. Um, but I was seeing on X that there was a uh quite a few people. Actually, do I have? Let me see here. Wait, hang. Uh, there was a list that I was looking through. Oh wait. Oh no, that was something earlier. I guess I didn't save it or whatever. But there was a video that I saw, and there was this list of all kinds of people. Obviously, um, Obama was there. Obama was on that list. Lady Gaga. And have you guys seen the X posting of Lady Gaga? It seems like they were uh eating some kind of dead guy. Did you guys happen to see that? So there's all kinds of disgusting stuff, and I think we've only reached the iceberg, or I'll just barely touch the iceberg. Um, and that to me really signals if how bad does this get? You know, how bad does this get? Because I mean, there have been talks of cannibalism for a long time now, and I mean, given that one image, I don't know if I can show it on YouTube, so I'm just gonna play it safe. Um, given that one image of Lady Gaga there, which it seems like it's Lady Gaga, uh, that's weird. That's Bohemian Grove weird to me, and it's see. As crazy as Alex Jones is when he says the shit that he does, again, he's being proven right again and again. Now, I don't agree with everything that he says, but when you look at when you actually look into what he's saying, a lot of it turns out to be true. So, I don't think anything's really going to come of this, to be honest with you guys. I don't think people are mad enough. I really don't think people are mad enough. So, but another thing too, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird how the Department of Justice released these files on the 30th? On the 30th. But in January 16, there was a story that came out about Trump saying he convinced himself not to strike Iran. Right. So let's read this a little bit. Trump says he decided on his own not to launch military strikes against Iran or Iran, whatever the fuck. Crediting Tehran's alleged cancellation of hundreds of scheduled executions as the decisive factor in his decision to hold back from military action. Nobody convinced me, I convinced myself. Trump told reporters outside the White House on January 16th when asked if uh, Arab and Israeli officials had persuaded him to stand down. Why would they be asking him about these specific people? That's interesting. Stay with me here. You had yesterday scheduled over 800. They didn't anyone. They canceled that had a big impact. Why are we over there in the first place? That's my question. We shouldn't. We should be worrying about our own people that are starving to death in our streets. People that don't have homes. That's what we should be focusing on. That's what we should be worried about instead of going and playing police for everyone else but us. So, why again would they ask him if these specific people had some kind of impact on his decision? Well, it might be because of this, because of the e files that were released, which were already well over, what, 40 days late, which they were supposed to release by law, actually. And the fact that they didn't do that really incriminates themselves. It really does. They're breaking the law to hide this stuff. Dude, what? But if I file my taxes late, I get thrown in prison for the rest of my life. Gotta love tyranny. Um so after January 30th, Trump kind of had a change of tune. Because now he's weighing major new strike on Iran. He's talking about striking Iran. Trump says he's weighing a major new strike on Iran after preliminary discussions between Washington and Tehran over limiting the country's nuclear program and ballistic missile production failed to make progress, according to people familiar with the matter. And this happened January 29th. January 29th. Isn't that interesting? So, right around the same time that they released this. Crazy. It's a little crazy to me. Yeah. That's a little crazy to me. So, who would benefit by us going into conflict with Iran? Who would benefit? Well, we know a certain country would, because they've said it countless times. Netanyahu has said it countless times. And that's what they're trying to do. We are such good loyal dogs for these people that they would absolutely have us fight their wars for they would have us fight their wars for them. Just like they did in 2001. So, yeah. Because while we were overseas, right, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, all over the place, Africa, you know who wasn't? Right. Israel. That's who wasn't. Everyone else was there. Australia was there. The UK was there. France was there. But guess who wasn't? But we're supposed to see the Russians and the Chinese like the enemy. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. But they're not blackmailing all of our politicians, which these guys really shouldn't be doing what they're doing anyways, get blackmailed. But the Russians, the Chinese aren't blackmailing in mass or pretty much our entire government. And if they can't blackmail you, they'll just straight up take you out. No, they're not doing that. You know who is doing that? Moss. You guys know what I'm talking about. the intelligence agency. I'm trying to watch the my words here for the algorithm. So excuse the vagueness, but gotta do. Unfortunately, you gotta do these things in order to get around the algorithm. So it's scary times that we're living in. It's always been the tactic from intelligence agencies to destabilize countries through what we're seeing now. And as soon as that happens, it's going to give them more leeway to start make bringing about more policies, more laws. That's going to further and further restrict us and our rights. And so we got to do whatever we can to fight back against this stuff, right? We got to start having these conversations. Hey, look, yeah, we see what's going on here, but we should all be paying attention for what's happening over here. And unfortunately, we're not doing that enough. Not doing that enough. There are too many people who are getting angry and just losing their shit over their feelings. And look, for them, they honestly believe that the world is crumbling. They honestly believe that. And again, it's because of the powers that be. Look up, don't look down, don't look across, look up. All right. Those are where the actual issues are. And these people don't care about you. These politicians, these CEOs, right? Those who attend the Bloomberg meetings, they don't care about you. Guys at the Federal Reserve, they don't care about you. They only care about their resources, what they can get from you. You think our tax dollars matter? No. They can just print money out of thin air. The Federal Reserve can, right? Because they're a private company, a private bank. Wait, I don't even think they're a bank. You have to have assets for that to happen, right? And so they just print IOUs, which are dollars, right? If you look on your dollar, it says note. That's what it means. It's pretty much an IOU. So we have nothing, guys. We don't have a damn thing. But we're slowly moving into a digital currency, and that's dangerous. And then you have billionaires who are coming on to news anchors and talking about limiting the First Amendment. Got all that happening. All of this stuff is happening right in front of our noses. And some of them's even out in the open. Some of them. But people are still getting mad at what they see right in front of them instead of looking behind what's in front of them, right? Sad, man. So I always tell you guys, make sure you prepare. Okay? Food, water, ammunition. You know, your firearms. Please prepare. Because we are coming to a day and age where unstabilization is going to be the norm for us. We're reaching hard times again. And when hard times hit, chaos ensues. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to be a warmonger. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger. I'm telling you the reality of things. All right. This is only going to get worse. And this is exactly what I was saying was going to happen quite a few months ago, well before Charlie was even shot. Okay. Things are going to get bad. Things are going to get bad. So make sure you have some kind of backup plan. Make sure you have some kind of place you can go that's going to be at least safer, right, than being around other large groups of people. So just look after yourselves. That being said, I want to go ahead and end the stream here. I'm absolutely tired. So I think I'm going to hit the snooze button. So I've got quite a bit to do tomorrow. That being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. For those of you who popped in, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And if it was, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, join the family. Again, we're trying to unite, trying to bring us all together and unite to, see the actual things that are happening, the real stuff that's happening, not all these distractions. Because we know damn well they want us to be distracted by anything and everything. So let's all come together under truth, under love, and let's make a better impact, a good impact on this world, on this country, the society that we're living in. So, but I love you all. I wish you a lovely day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.